strong start, 8 out of 14, shared the second place. He has played in the GMT tournaments all the time, at least 50% result. But yeah, last year was disappointing. And also this year, Angelika, is not great for him.
It's not going great. The handshake has been done right now. The knight f3, yes, the famous move over English opening we have on the board.
Yeah, it seems that finally the boards are working. Very happy to see that. So what do we have here? Keymer is improvising with the first moves, bishop b2, delaying the d4 move, knight b5 played very quickly. I think this is some kind of a blitz repertoire. Oh, there you go. It's ready with the fork on c7.
Wow,
how about
immediately.
that?
Knight a6 has to protect. And now knight e4 is jumping right in by Praggnanandhaa. What is knight doing there on e4? Do you want to play d3 to kick it out?
I'm not really sure. I suppose he wants to land the knight on d6 or maybe bishop f6 because the bishop on e5 is a bit annoying. Maybe there's some f6 ideas as well. Queen c2, and here Pragg is thinking. Sometimes white here doesn't cast a short and he plays moves like h4 and knight g5, try to be creative, get to the king's attack. But of course the big question is where white plans to position the king. c6 is on the board.
We have a very important battle right here. So f6 has been played by Praggnanandhaa, immediately kicking out the bishop from the e5. And he's going back to g3.
Bishop g3. I like this choice by Keymer because now you see if black is going to take on g3, h6 on g3 is going to open the rook on h1, hitting the pawn on h7. I don't think Pragg is going to do this, but he needs to make a choice.
The queen's on c2 is standing very nicely. That's why knight b4 is playing, immediately trying to challenge the queen. Queen b1 is something what I would expect to play, and here we have the move. a3 most likely is going to kick the knight.
This game is getting really sharp. Now black is threatening to play bishop f5, bring the bishop in the game and also bother the white queen on b1, so Keymer needs to do something about it. By the way, can you take on e4? That's the big question. I'm suspecting, Angelika, this is still a prep.
Taking a knight on e4, there is no bishop f5 because there is a check on f6.
Keymer is thinking. Yeah, Keymer is thinking about his choices, what to do. He's not really aware of this, so at the moment I think that Pragg has been slightly better in the opening phase. There you go, c takes on d5 is played, knight c3, d takes, knight e5, and we have a symmetrical structure on the board.
Exactly, and now is the time for white to decide to castle or not. And he's castling short, of course, looks very logical, but computer somehow doesn't like it. Because there is a pawn hanging on c3.
A short castle. Whoa,
knight c3?
Whoa, what just happened here?
Knight c3? What is happening?
Knight x on c3, bishop c4 check, intermezzo check, and then try to trap the knight. Wait a second, Angelika, I think this knight is going to go back, no? What just happened here? So Pragg's thinking about, what about the pawn on c3? Can I take it? Yes, and he does it.
Knight c3, bishop c4 check, king goes away, and now knight can come back to d5. What is happening? It was just a blunder of a pawn?
I think it was just a blunder indeed, because I don't see how white can make black suffer because of this knight on c3. It's easily heading back either to d5 or b5 squares, so this knight is not in trouble. Also, as you can see, the white queen is under attack. I think Vincent here simply hallucinated something. And that's not the start that he wanted.
Yeah, that's not the start for sure. He wants, especially knowing their battle for the fourth place in the Masters tournament. Queen c2 is attacking the knight, but knight is simply retreating on b5 or d5. On d5 there could be a problem of rook d1, so maybe that's why knight b5 could be a move.
Knight e5 is indeed played. Of course, the game is not over because white is only down a pawn, but this is a big psychological blow to the German grandmaster because you tend to underperform when you're blundering, especially in Blitz game. I don't think at the moment Winston has a lot of confidence, but of course he's going to continue to fight on. Maybe think about some future ideas like knight h4, knight f5, try to use those weakened light squares. We'll see.
And now Vincent is burning time trying to find the way to go. Will he play the rook on d1? Will he play knight h4? This is really already difficult for him because being simply down a pawn for no initiative is not something you expect from the tournament.
This is too long. He's taking too long here. He should just make a move. This just shows how unhappy he is about this position, how he's playing in general. So he plays rook d1. Winston needs to wake up.
And we have some attack on the d5 knight. Will bishop e6 be played? I mean, looks like a logical move protecting the knight. But there is a e4 very strong threat, so you have to make sure this doesn't work.
So most likely Pragg is going to retreat to the queen to make sure he's not blundering the knight.
Yes, queen a5, maybe protecting the knight on d5. Looks like a good move.
So here Pragg is choosing about his continuations, 1 minute and 30 seconds on the clock. Still not a simple position. Maybe he's not happy to give up the pawn on d5, because if the queen leaves the d file, the pawn on d5 is gone. Maybe queen a5 indeed is the best move here to keep the pawn alive. But no, he decided to sacrifice the pawn.
He's sacrificing a pawn on d5, but can you take it actually? That's a huge question. Can you take the pawn? Because if you exchange the knights, then you can help with the development black, and there are going to be two bishops, the bishop pair for Praggnanandhaa against knight and the bishop. Bishop on g3 is very sad for Vincent.
I think that Vincent is not going to take on d5, because then black's position is very easy. I think what Vincent would like to do is to play a3 to keep the b4 square protected and play bishop d3. I mean, he's very slow, 30 seconds already on the clock. So clearly Vincent is not right now in the shape he was looking for. He still has made a move. He essentially has wasted like 2 minutes on a couple of simple moves.
I have only 3 words. Vincent, wake up. Vincent, wake up, because under 30 seconds you cannot play so slow. And rook ac1 has been played. Bishop e6 with the easy development for black and simple extra pawn. Looks very easy.
Queen e4, now here white is trying to play bishop d3, build a battery. That's why he decided not to take a knight on d5, because Vincent, of course, is well aware that in the Blitz game you want to be attacking. Yeah, there's the feature chat. Vincent might be tilting. Perhaps this is the case because the previous round he was completely winning and he did not win it. So sometimes this can do damage.
Yes, and what he's trying to do, he's trying to create maybe some attack on the king side, bringing the queen to e4. Maybe there are ideas to push the h pawn, bringing the bishop to the d3 square. Knight h4, knight f5, also activating the knight on the king side. Is there an attack, Arturs?
I'm not really sure, but king g8 was a pretty human move. Apparently there was something wrong with this, maybe because engines really like the bishop g8 prospect to keep the pawn on h7 protected. There's knight f7, queen g4, at least for the German fans. Keymer is attacking. Knight f5 is a threat, maybe h4, h5. This game is still not over. By the way, the bar confirms it. Keymer apparently still okay.
And Keymer finds this very nice initiative against the king. e4 is being played. Now, what do you do? If you remove the knight, then there is going to be played bishop takes f7, and rook might enter on the 7th rank.
What I don't like about here Pragg's position here, he started to play very passive. I don't think this was a good idea. This king g8, knight e7, everything falls apart. Now look at this bishop on f8, which is not very active. And Vincent starts to feel the blood here, so he plays king h1 to play f4.
Wow, he wants to open up the position f4. Now huge threat to trade the pawns and to open the f file against the black's king. Knight g6, Pragg is trying to defend.
Great move, I like it. So queen h5 pins the knight. If the king goes away, there's going to be knight x on g6. Still, Pragg is pressing here. The engine marks this as a mistake. Probably in some lines, the pawn on e4 is under attack. But the both players are below 10 seconds.
Both players are very low on time. It's very tough to play. Indian superstar is trying to trade the rooks. He's up a pawn. He's trying to stop the attack. Rook g1 has been played, trying not to allow any kinds of a checkmate on the first rank.
Queen b5, great move, offering a queen trade. That's the move that Vincent didn't want to see. King g8, now black avoids the pin. Queen d3 now hits the pawn on e4, and Vincent's attack is gone. The only idea is to play h4, h5, try to open up the g file. The pawn on e4 was under attack.
Now the rook is being attacked by the bishop on b4. Rook d1 is being played. Queen takes another pawn. A queen trade is happening on the board. Rook is trying to be activated on the 7th rank, but it marks again as another mistake.
97, excellent defensive resource defending the 7th rank. Knight e5 here. Black is only very active, so the position repeats a couple of times. Of course, Pragg is not going to repeat the position, but it's only 5 seconds each. h5, knight f3, knight f5. Black charges forward.
Everything is happening very quickly. Bishop h5, bishop c5, protecting the pawn. Rook c7, trying to grab all the pawns. Vincent is trying to stop somehow and take more pawns.
Knight e4. Yeah, I think this is going to be really bad for white now. Rook c1, the only move to defend the bishop on e1. Where's the win? h3, knight e4, h6, and g4. Somehow white is still alive.
White is still alive with the 3 against 3 pawns. Actually, isn't it already...
Yeah, it could be about equal, yeah. Somehow Vincent fought back because Pragg was not really precise in the time scramble. Big surprise there. This is still a Blitz game after all. So white goes very aggressive. h4, sacrifice the pawn on a2 to be active. So most likely bishop g3, h5. So white is charging forward. Again, Pragg has an extra pawn.
Yes, and we are having the h5 all the way. Now Rook is trying to join the attack, maybe coming to the 7th or 6th rank. Both players are super low on time.
Only 5 seconds each for Vincent. He already essentially is playing the increment. Only 2 seconds per every move are added to the clock.
King on f5 and pawn on h5 are blocking all the potential push for the black.
Now there goes Pragg. He needs to find a way to capitalize on the extra pawn. The f pawn is not going forward. White is pretty active. Maybe f5 at some point. You need to make a decision very quickly. 5 seconds on the clock.
Very low on time for both players. Pragg is still trying. Rook d7 coming
this
in.
is a huge resource. H6 is a big threat. f5 pushed by Pragg here. But again, king g5 Vincent charges. Well, watch out for the mate in one threat. Bishop f6, h6, bishop f6 and h5. Almost feels like a mate, but g6 is impossible. There goes Pragg with a checkmate threat on h3. Where's the defense? Where's the defense?
Wait, what happened?
There's no defense. Yeah,
Oh my
he just
God.
missed it. Rook b3, huge move by Pragg. And he wins the game.
This is crazy. This is crazy result. Oh
Let's
my
maybe
God.
select another game. Do we
If
have another game?
If we have a game ongoing, I guess all the games actually have finished in the round number 4.